So a couple of people have asked on Facebook about how I changed the handles on my 944S2. This is one of the ones that, or rather this is the one that took off the passenger side. As you can see, it's a bit manky, paint's all chipping off, etc. So I decided to get myself some script handles instead. I bought a set from Justin at Waleswood 944. They came in the same kind of cover, the same paint type as the original, but I've done a bit of work on them to get them polished up. 800, the 600 grit, then 800 grit, then 1200 grit, and then a bit of a polish up with the Dremel, and they look a lot better. So that was a plan, to swap to swap the old horrible looking ones for some nice polished script ones. I have polished fuchsias on my 944, so it kind of matched. So I'll go on and explain how I did things. Okay, so I put some masking tape around the area so that hopefully I don't scratch any of the paintwork. It's going to be a bit interesting trying to do this one-handed, but I'll see. My last one on the other side kind of slid backwards really easily. This one seems to be a bit weird. It kind of pulls out forwards, backwards or forwards a little bit, and then you'll see just in there's like a little lip bit to it. It doesn't move very far, and it can't move very far this way either because of the back end here. So you just have to be careful, give a bit of a wiggle to try and get the thing out. Voila! As you can see where the lip of that just pops into there. The problem with all of this is that is as far as everything goes in the handle, if you can see that. So there's not a lot of room to manoeuvre, hence why they suggest you go in through the door, take the door panel off, and take the windscreen out in an S2 so that you can get to that bit a bit easier. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this clip off first, and then I'm going to, if I can see it, I don't think I can see it yet, I'll have to put the video back on in a second once I get that clip off. Basically, each time you take something off, you can see the next bit we need to take off. So bear with me, and I'll do that clip first. Okay, that was a bit fiddly. You can see the little marks I've made on here with a screwdriver, just trying to pop this clip off here. The wire actually must get really quite stuck in amongst there because it's quite not frayed, but it's very much squashed, that's for sure. So the next thing we need to do is, if you just there's a little white just in there. There's a little white bit of plastic. Oh, there we go. Just saw it for a second there. A little bit of white plastic, and we need to pop that off so that we can get to the next stage in this. So I'll just go and do that now. I just found that I can probably zoom in on this a bit better. There's the little white plastic thing right there. Just see the white part of it inside. If you can see it, it's too dark to see in there. Anyway, I'll be able to show you once it comes off, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so the next bit, I've popped the little white thing off, and I'll show you that in a second when we get the handle out. I have now masking taped up the little clip, and I've popped the end of this back into the door, because what we need to do now is get the roll pin out from underneath here, which if the handles moves around, of course that's going to be really hard to do. So I've just popped it back into the handle hole so that I can try and get this roll pin out. So I've just sprayed a bit of WD-40 onto this one. Unfortunately the other side came out nice and easily, but this one's been a bit of a pain. The roll pin is just there. You can just see it there, but I've just realised I could actually show you on when I've cleaned up So that's what we're looking at this end, and the roll pin itself is just there underneath. It's not fixing very well, is it? There you go, there's the roll pin there. So we need to pop that one out so that we can get the door latch mechanism to undo. We can take the handle out. So that's where the roll pin is. So you can see why it's so difficult to see it under there. There's the roll pin there. We just got to try and get that in. So what I managed to do is get in underneath here and just pry the or get the pin to start moving, and then I got a little pick. I can't even see where it is on the screen. So I got myself one of the little picks just to kind of, then once the pin's moving, just to kind of slide it outwards. It's just this tiny little pin here that holds the whole thing together. So now we're in a position to be able to take the entire handle out, like so. There you go, there's the handle. So what we've undone, just so that you're aware, right, so this is the main handle mechanism. Just in there you can see that little white thing that we popped off. I'm going to move that up again in a minute, and then you've got your clip, which I've geez, look at that, which I've masking tape down just so that I don't lose it inside the door. So that's the handle out. What we need to do now is swap this out, because the internals of my original handles there are much better than on the script handle. So I'm going to show you how to do that bit. So now it's off the car, we can actually see things a bit better. That's where the clip was attached. This little ball joint thing is where the little white attachment goes. It's dropped back down into the car at the moment, so I'm going to have to try and pull that back up when I put it back on again. And then under here, that's where our little pin was that we pushed out. That one there. So what we're going to do now is tidy this up, because the lock barrel and the part that it sits in, this bit here, is actually much better in my original one than in, if you look at this one, than in the replacement. So you look at the state of that as opposed to the lock barrel on my original. So what I'm going to do, rather than taking the barrel out and putting it into the new one, I'm just going to take the entire thing out, and then that way the length of the mechanism that's still in the door will be exactly right for the mechanism that I've just taken out. So makes life a lot easier than trying to adjust this thing to get it to be the right length. And also, this is the bit that people find really difficult to put down into the you can imagine that going down into the door and then trying to push that onto the ball joint thing that's inside the door. It's a real pain in the backside, and so it's much easier to do it this way around. So I'm going to go and clean this up, and then I'll show you how to take the entire lump like barrel support section out of the handle itself, so we can swap it over into the new one. Okay, so we've tidied that up a bit, lots of WD-40 etc. to try and clean it, because what we're looking for is a little roll pin that is just here, and that holds this whole mechanism into the handle itself. So I'm just going to try and stop my phone from over. Difficult one, good. So I'm just going to tap that roll pin out, like so. Right, if I turn it over, you'll see the roll pin there. So it's essentially, it's just popping out of this side here. So pop that out, like like so, and that allows us to wiggle. It is a bit of a wiggle, this. It should be zoomed out a second here. That will allow us to wiggle this bit. It's a bit manky. You can actually see it's rusted in here a bit, so it's going to take more of a wiggle than I expected. This is going to need cleaning up so that it can slide out. But essentially, you can see now this bit should if it wasn't a bit corroded, should slide out. So I'm going to tie that up and show you the difference between the two. Okay, so it did need a bit of a wiggle, two-handed wiggle, in order to get that out, and it is a bit manky, as you can see. However, in comparison to the one that was, this is the one that came off the other script, the difference is remarkable. The script ones are really corroded in comparison. The other script one that I haven't taken out yet is just as bad, but that's why I'm taking that entire section out. That can just pop back into the script one. I'll do exactly the same. Take this part out of the script, pop that one back in, and then I've got the original locks still in the new handle. So I'll go and tidy this up, take the other one out of the script, and then I'll put that in there and show you it in the script itself. So having cleaned them both up now, that's the one from the script, and that's my original. You can see just how corroded the script one is actually in comparison to the one I've just taken out. It's really quite corroded. So anyway, you can either, if the one in your new one's fine, you don't need to take the whole lot out, you can just undo the screw in the top here, and you can put your lock barrel into the one that's in your handle, or you can take out the whole section like this. The good thing about this, of course, you can take it all out, grease it all back up again, and put it in, and you know that it's what was in there before, and it was working brilliantly. So might be the easiest thing to do. So back to the script handle. I don't need this part. This part of the mechanism here is still in the car, still in the door. So I'm just going to take out the roll pin from the script handle. Takes a little bit of working. To get that out. There we go. So we can take that out. And then this will attach to the part that's inside the car already, on that bit there. The cleaned up one of these, the barrel lock simply pops back into there. We put the roll pin back in there to secure it, and then we can grease all this up, and we can then go and put it back in the car. Okay, so back out the car, got the handles all nice, cleaned up, greased and things. We've got new gaskets from Waleswood 944 from Justin, and what we're going to do is try and get it back in here now. Now that the handle's out of the way, you can see that white sticky uppy thing there that we've got to try and pop back on to this ball joint. So we've got the white one to go on the ball joint, we've got the mechanism here which needs to go on to the end, and then our split pin goes through, our roll pin goes through there, and then we can connect our that socket back up again at the end. It's a little bit fiddly. If I remember rightly, I think I did the white one first, because you can actually get your finger in and push it, but I'll have a go now and get back to you, because I can't do that obviously and hold the phone at the same time. Yep, okay, so the white one does go on first. It pulls, the white bit actually pulls forward quite a long way, so you can pop it onto the ball joint, literally with the handle hanging right out, and then just gently moving the trigger allows you to fiddle around and get the trigger to fit into the mechanism there. So of course the next bit, and the fiddliest bit, is getting your roll pin back in under here. Now I've noticed there's a big difference between the roll pin that I took out of the script one in comparison to the roll pin that I took out of the original. So I'm going to put the script one back in because I know when that one fits well. That's just a case of being really gentle and using your pliers or crimps or something to try and just slowly push that roll pin back in. Once that's in, that's the hard bit done. Okay, so all 3 bits are now attached. The roll pin was a bit of a pain in the backside, if I'm honest. It took me 5 minutes of fiddling, but not too bad. Now they do say, oh, don't forget to put your gasket on before you do all of this. I found that the other side, it's much easier to put it on afterwards, because you can literally just slide it over the top and just push it over like that. Otherwise you've just got yet another thing in the way when you're trying to do it. So just slide it over the top. The little notch end goes at the back, and then you can put the same one on the front and pop it in. Now I'm going to take all the masking tape off before I do that, because otherwise you end up with the masking tape kind of underneath the new gaskets. So just take it all off, and then hopefully the gaskets go on and I can put it back together. And there you go. Pop your gaskets back on, have a bit of a wiggle, get it back in. Remember to do your screw back in there, which pulls the handle back towards the back of the car. Check it all works. And you're golden. Original black against polished script. Goes a bit better with my wheels. Anyway, I hope that's of help to somebody. Never done one of these things before, so yeah, I've tried to help. There you go, and there you have it. Here's the other side I did before. Both sides done now. Hope that helps.